be the leaders of couple of projects. So you can't be what? Doing everything. That's why we hire engineers, technicians, technologists, and so on. So if you're down to earth and you really your passions, your ultimate input is to really help to produce this project. I come on Wednesday. I say, so where are you up to? I come on Tuesday to Jeff. So where are you up to on this? This. I'm 70%. I'm almost finished. You gotta be honest also. You can't be like, you didn't work on it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They say, I'm 80% and you haven't yet done it, right? So it's some people, they want you to struggle, and you approach them, say why? They say, well, I want to produce this energy out of this individual. It can't be every time relying on this guy and this guy and this guy. You're getting paid $125,000. You're not going to sit in the office and watch the clock moving from 8 to 5 o'clock. Not in that doesn't work in the real industries. The counters is working. So we've done this. Next, now experience, intuition will be built. Next time, if the customer want 5, 2.4, 6, 7, you'll see all the time you're changing what? You're changing RS, but you don't have consumption. You don't have that conceptions of why. But you realize that when changing RS, ID is changing respectively, right? That's intuitions. You come and ask, why this is happening? Why didn't you go directly from the beginning to RS? They wouldn't. No, because they don't have this kind of understanding. Okay. Self-bias, right? So we get the fix, we get the self. Even if the customer wants particular VGS value, right? If I want particular VGS value, say I want, for example, 5.5 minus 5.5. What would be the equivalent RS if or minus 5.5? Same question. What would be find RS? Find RS value to produce a negative 5.5 volt. You go back again to the voltage, but now instead of what? I is my reference, V is my reference. I go to find 5.5 and I'll draw up line. Right? And that's going to give me what? 0.5. 0.2. Probably 0.2, 0.1, right? Say it's 0.2 milliamp. So from the graph, I will know that minus 5.5 will give me 0.2 milliamp. So from the graph, so we say solution. Minus 5.5 volt will produce 0.2 milliamp. So therefore, minus 5.5 equal minus 0.2 what? RS. So therefore, RS equal 5.5 divided by 0.2. What's 5.5 divided by 0.2? 27.5. 27.5 K, right? Kilo. Wow. From what? From 1 kilo ohm to 27 kilo ohm. Would you be able to, if I go to the lab and I see Dallas is starting from 1K, right? Starting from 1K, you start changing. Then you move to, you don't move to 1 to 2K directly. Normally is 10 steps. 1.1, 1.2, you follow me? 1 point, until you reach to 2. So how long does it take you to reach to 27? You're going to have to fix this lab 270 times. You got to do the reading, right? Each one is 10 minutes. From 1 to 27. God only knows if you, that's if you start from 1. That's if you start from 1K, right? But we will, intuitive technician will say, okay, here's mine. I will go up and see what's happening, and I go down and see what's happening, right? If I go up and I see I'm getting closer, right? I got to do a couple of times. I go up. Am I still going up? Am I still going up? So that's the intuition word. But I could come to my office. I come out of my office and say, look, Dallas, listen, start me with what? Start me with 27. I know it's, start me with 25. If I'm going to be nasty with you, I'll say, start me with 10K. Oh, this guy is helping me. Instead of me starting from 1, I'm going to start with 10. Because he saved me 100 steps, right? I saved you 100 steps by doing this. So if I'm, my nose up to the sky and I want to prove I'm the best engineers on board, I stay in my office, and every time I come up, so what happened? You didn't get the answer yet? What's wrong with you? How long you've been here? Still you didn't get, what's wrong with you? You don't know how to use the instrument, you don't know how to blah, 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 blah. You start what? Sweeping the guy. Of course, both of you are going to take a break, lunch break, and everybody's looking at you, start, look at this nasty F word throwing all over behind your back. Come, Mr. Jack, nice guy, he comes out of the office and says, look, Jose, start with what? Tested on 27. Tested on 27K, right? Tested on 27K, you're going to give you this. Wow, I love working with this guy. Honestly, this is the environment. This is the environment. You worked it out. How long did it take you to figure out this? Couple of minutes? I mean, your algebra is no good, forget about it. Then you shouldn't be hired anyway. But how long did it take you to come up with this answer? 2, 3 minutes? Right? 3 minutes, you go and you come back and you say, Eric, do me a favor, 27.5 kilo ohm. Right? Build it and check me out are we coming up with what? Are we coming up with the proper voltage and current? Oh, we got it. You got it right on the spot. The meter is going to read exactly your analytical work. So with 5.5, you would get what? 0.2 milliamp and value 27. You say, look, we did it. So we don't have to do it what? 270 times.
In which case we'll get the following project right after.
Right. That's the idea. Your team, you, the leader of this technology team, you will have 2 technologies or 3 technologists working under you. I'm talking about an engineers right now. Electrical engineers will have like 3 technologists working with, under him. And each technology, probably 5 technologists, will have 1 technician. 3 to 1 technician. So that technician, for God's sake, is answering to who? To 3 technologists and an engineer. So in reality, he's answering to 4. Right? That's only 1 engineer. The company might have 10 engineers. So poor technicians, what? They come 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, they can't even breathe. It's not our fault. You decided not to go to school, right? And then it's not our fault that you stayed as a technologist to start complaining, why am I working under engineers? We're both doing the same things, right? You decided not to
upgrade.
You said to yourself, I'm not going to take physics 1, physics 2, physics 3, right? You said, I don't want to take chemistry 1, chemistry 2, I don't want to go through calc 1, 2, 3, differential equation, and it's, you know, every decision comes with some kind of consequences, right? You don't feel those consequences until you hit the work field and you start getting paid. And you wonder, why am I getting 45, 50, and this damn engineers that he doesn't even speak English, right? Properly. I'm giving you the pictures. You work with the Chinese or Indian, or they just came from overseas. English is just from the book, right? From the textbook, because we all studied English. From the electronic and circuitry, all English textbook, not an Indian textbooks or Chinese textbook or whatever, all English, right? They got an opportunity in the United States. Engineers getting paid 85. He accepts 35. What are you going to do to this? You tell him, the hell with you, why did you accept 35? Now you're blocking all engineers, right? Who went to a good schools, paid so much money, and paid this, and now we got cohort will do the job. I'm not saying they don't do the job. Believe me, they do a good job. But reality, I mean it. I mean it. I mean it because I apply it myself. I have, we go to a website that we have, or go to the companies in United Arab Emirates. We hire all the Indians and the Asians. Why? For that reason. You say, I want to hire a European engineers or an American engineer, they don't go beyond 80. They take the job for 25 and 35. I can care less. I get the project, right? Done. What I did here is I minimize my cost. Did I create a social chaos? I can care less. Don't look at me, Jack. I tell you this, don't look at me and say you are the worst professors and this is the reality.
No, but this is now the business aspect.
Right, the business aspect. I want, at the end of the year, what do I want? And instead of 2.5 million, I want 3.5 million. Right? And you're shooting on 35,000 or 80,000. Different mentality between an entrepreneur mentality, right, and an engineer's, or just from a work perspective. I just want to work. You just want to work. We give you plenty of work. Aggressiveness is from that entrepreneurship. You're gonna hold me for this? Look, I don't care. I want to make money. If you think I'm creating a social chaos, then you have to go somewhere else address this problem. Not me. I'm the one with the capital. The one with capital who will not be questioned at all times. Keep that in mind. You heard it from me, right? And you will see this in true, dimensions when you work in the field. It's an unbelievable concept, but it's drive people to make money and drive people to commit suicide. Darkianzo has to work, the social service. That's most of the company driven out of this area for that reason. Taxes and high taxes. Before we used to have a free taxes for 30 years, 40 years. That time is over. You have to pay. What do I have to pay? 200, 300, 1.5 million, 3 million? No, I move to a place that gives me a zero. Right? I go there. I produce another opportunities for the local people. Everybody is happy. just like you did it here 30 years ago, you go do it somewhere else. Same outcome. Same. But the greed is what drives me here.
It's only 1 year now.
Okay, fixed bias, self-bias, right? How are we doing on time?
30. 6:30.
6:30. And now we move into voltage divider network. From the assignment, don't change your mind about me because I'm speaking the truth. Consider me just right now, I'm what? Knowledge givers, right? But if I'm going to give you the knowledge, not give you also the truth about what's going on, I don't want you to get hit later on. Because engineering revolves around three things. Knowledge, which is that's why you go into school. Skills, that's why you go into the lab. Right? Skills. Technical skills. Breadboarding, soldering, desoldering, wiring, bridging, all these technical skills, right? So knowledge, technical skills, and what's the third and the most important?
Network.
I'll let you answer this in there. You come up with that answers later.
I said once.
Okay, now, self-bias. I'd like you to do a self-bias. You could do actually which one? 6. This is 785 to problem 6, 7 and 6 and 7. Okay, 6 and self-bias 6, 7, 86. 6, 7 and 8. You do 3 problems also, right? 6, 7 and 8. You do one that you do the note and you do one more problem, you got it. Because that's the style. You do 2, 3, 4 problem. Now you what? You're practicing. Comes to the exam, and instead of you finishing it in 15 minutes, you finish it in 8 minutes. That's the idea of a practice. But predicated on the fact that you have what? Get down the procedures. You're not thinking on the exam how you're going to do it. You're working on it. Right? Okay, so 6, 7, and 8. Voltage divider. Now remember, this is self-bias, right? That's self-bias. I attach to it a voltage here. It becomes fixed. Now, do you, yes, Lewis.
No, it was, so if you wanted this to produce a max 8.0, you would just remove RS?
Becomes 0. Right, then you're going back again to one of those
Right.
FETs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is remain RS, RD, and
R2.
you will have a network. Okay, so do the before this. So this is let's stick with the notation. So VDD R1 and R1 and R2. So this is R1, R2. R1 and R2. I still collect from here the signal because the objective, don't forget that the objective of this is I get something from here, right? I have a system that from here that produces a very low pitch, low amplitude, right? I'm not able to hear it. So now I have to send it into a coupling capacitor that will take it to an amplifier. So now this is doing an amplifications. This stage is V in goes to amplification, produce what?
V out.
V out higher. Who is doing it? That little piece. These are just supportive elements. These are just a supportive element. Problem is you can't just directly send in to that physical piece. Okay, so C1, C1, C2. Now the equations the network equations, we're still here, right? We're still in this sense, but there's that VG right here. See that terminal? That's your VG, right? So if this is your VG right there, from the structures VG, well, comes from here, so it's equal to VDD. This is the voltage divider network, so it's VDD multiplied by R2 over R1 plus R2.
Okay.
That's the level of VG right here. So now the system will have VG right here, will have VGS, 3 voltage level in this loop. VG, VGS,
And VS.
and VRS. So with this, that produces the network curve. So my network is here. But this network, based on that level of voltage is this. Not interested in it right now. Interested is when this VG right here, that VG should equal to what? Even if you put, that was going to produce this and this. As if this is a source right now, right? So that source is going to allow the drop here and here. So I could claim at this network, I could claim that VG equal to VGS plus VRS. VRS we know. VRS we know, which is ID R RS. ID right now, because we haven't yet figured out IDQ, isn't it? So IDRS. So I could claim that VG equal to what? VGS plus IDRS. We know that the network is what? The network is VGS expression. So I solve for VGS, therefore VGS equal VG minus ID RS.
But isn't that VS, which is IDRS?
VS here? No.
Oh,
VS is right here. VS, but you still have a resistor, right?
but that's still IDQ, which is
No, don't use IDQ because we haven't yet connected to the chip to say ID right now is an IDQ. Okay, we're just right now coming up with the expressions for VG. And so now VGS is VG minus ID. Now previously VGS equal to what? Minus IDRS, right? For the self, right? So remember, this is voltage. What? Divider. Previously, VGS equal minus ID
RS.
RS only. But right now we have a fixed voltage also level that comes out of what? VDD. I have to treat it right there. So now if you put the curve for VGS and ID, I could still say, for example, when VGS is 0, when VGS is 0, what will be my ID? VGS is 0. This goes to the side, right? This goes to the side, becomes a minus VG. So ID will be minus VG over negative RS, right? So solve for when VGS is 0, you solve this, substitute VGS 0. You will come up with ID equal VG divided by R RS. So we do get a fixed value. Now if I say on the other hand, if my ID is 0, if my ID is 0, it's possible. If I want to know exactly what happened, when ID is 0, then VGS equal to
0. No,
ID is 0, it will drop. VGS equal
VG.
No, VG.
right? Equal to VG. So now, this will look like, the chip is definitely, without a doubt, is this, right? That's the chip. The network, 0, give me some kind of a value on the ID, right? This is my ID. When it's 0, I will be what? Some VG over RS, isn't it? 0 voltage. Give me a current of VG over RS. VG is fixed, RS is fixed. Then you evaluate. Where am I going to get VG? I'll get it from VDD, right? Multiplied by that branch. So I get my fixed value of VG. And RS is fixed, so I know exactly where I am on this. Now when ID is 0, that goes into some kind of level VG. So now what happened? Your network is not like previously, right? It's not like the previous network that comes from the origin. It's shifted. And that's the beauty about this. Because here, if I want to meet the customer demand, I have to what? I just have to rotate, right? I fix my value 0, 0, and I rotate my network. So I'm rotating here, this way, that way. I could take the whole things and what? Shift right and left. Obviously here is shift what? Always right, because VG will never be equal to negative, right? VG will never be negative. That value will never be negative to say I'm going to shift back and forth. The maximum you could go, that this goes all the way to 0, and that becomes your self-bias now, right? When VG equals 0, then this is your bias, your self-bias. But it's always moving forward to the right. So anytime you want to meet some customer's demand and you're not able to do it, you could shift this. But the self-bias, if it's shifted, then you are what? You are adjusting the network to a voltage divider. So now, you could see, and now this is my what? That's my Q. And the good things about the voltage divider, the analysis is the same like the self-bias. Because this part of the network, we didn't change. Right? So, VD, it's still VDD minus IDQRD. VS, it's still IDQ time RS. So no changes whatsoever. We remain, after we do this, everything's remain the same as what your self bias. So we write them down. Still, VS is IDQ RS doesn't change. And your VD still VDD minus IDQ RD. And if I need VDS, it's equal to VD minus VS, which I have. And you could always write the equation, it's equal to VDD minus IDQ comma, or multiplied by RS plus RD, same equation. But I hope you see why. No changes on the right-hand side of the network.
Because it's a self.
Right. So 1, 2, 3 remain the same. What's left? VG, you calculated. VG, you actually started with it. So VG equal to VDD times R2 over R1 plus R2. I will go through an example. Time, how are we doing in time?
45.
45. Good. Finish it up. Let me.
Professor, so you did all this for him just to get the equation for
The
VDS?
equations for the network curve. Because this is remain a linear equations, right? This is a variable, this is a variable. If I want to graph a linear equations, then I need a minimum of 2 points. My variable are VGS and ID, so I could take 0, 0 as the primary, right? I could take one time VGS 0 solve for ID, I could take the other time ID 0 solve for